Hello guys, you're welcome back to Slick Academies, and today we are beginning an introductory series into biology. This is most suitable for students in SS1, also very important for those in SS2 and SS3, especially when preparing for their external exams like WAEC, NECO and JAM. So this can serve as a refresher course. Alright, so without wasting much time, let us quickly go into biology. So what is biology? Biology, which was taken from two Greek words. The first Greek word is bios. Bios means life. And the second Greek word is logos, which means to study. So technically or logically, biology can be defined as the scientific study of life. So basically it has to do with the study of every single living thing on earth. And being a part of science, now let us quickly define the word science, which was taken from a Latin word which means scientia, and scientia is simply means knowledge. So science has systematic steps in which it builds and organizes knowledge in a form that it can be testable based on all the predictions they make about the universe. So you can simply define it as a systematic process that builds and organizes knowledge in the form of testable explanations and predictions about the universe. And biology can be grouped into two branches. Basically we have botany and we also have zoology. Now botany is the study of plants, while zoology is the study of animals. Also, biology can be divided into different broad areas. It is so broad that sometimes when you go further, you begin to major in one area because it is quite broad. But then let us quickly look at these different areas in biology. We have entomology, which is the scientific study of insects. Yes, insects. We also have to study insects to understand them. Then we also have ethology, which is the scientific study of animal behavior. Ecology, which is the study of living things in relation to their environment. Basically, we are asking how does living things influence their environment and how does our environment also influence us. The morphology tells you the form and structure of living organisms. Are they round? Are they square? How big they are? What is the particular shape? This is what morphology tells us. Then anatomy, the study of the internal structures of plants and animals, all those particular things, organs and systems inside your body. This is what anatomy studies. And then physiology studies how plants and animals function. So all these things we have, how do they function? What is their role in living things? Then genetics is the scientific study of heredity and variation in living things. So it's more like inheritance. What did we get from our parents? What are the implications of the things that we got from our parents and stuff like that? Then we have pathology, which is the study of various diseases. So pathology tells us what are these diseases and what their causes and stuff, how do we contract them and the rest of them. So these are a few branches of biology. We also have microbiology and the rest of them, which is the study of tiny things that we cannot see with our naked eye without the help of but we can only see them with the help of a microscope. So these are just a few branches of biology. Then of course, in the study, remember we said that biology is a systematic process of actually organizing knowledge, and there is what we call, since it is a science, there are steps we call the scientific method, which includes observation. So before you start doing things, you must have started observing things that now probe your curiosity. And then when you observe these things, you first of all start seeking to find out what is the problem here. Okay, what is the core thing to look at here? Then after you've observed and actually made your findings about the problems, you can now prefer a possible guess, or let's say we call it hypothesis. So you can now formulate a hypothesis. Some people used to refer to hypothesis as a smart guess after you have observed something over a long period of time or over a certain period of time. Then when you make your hypothesis, you can now conduct an experiment to confirm your guess. Alright, so you design or conduct an experiment, and after your experiment, you analyze your experiments and then reach a conclusion. Is it in tandem or is it in line with your initially proposed hypothesis? Then after you've gone and then drawn your conclusions, you can now share your findings. Now other scientists can now take it up and also test this to know if it is a universal truth, if it holds still for their own side. So everybody gets to, that's one thing about sciences, you share information. Then when this holds true for everybody, this hypothesis is now accepted within the scientific community, and it keeps being tested over a certain period of time within the available evidence. Obviously, it now becomes a theory, and when it actually lingers for a very long time still within the available evidence, we now have what we call a law and or what we call a principle. So it's either you call it law or principle. Then what are the usefulness of biology? Why do we have to study biology? Biology allows humans to better understand their bodies and their resources and potential threats in the environment. So biology basically gives us a better understanding of everything about us, from our body changes, what affects us, microbial infections. So without biology, we don't have all this knowledge that we have about these so many infections, our environmental influence on our body, how our body system functions. Like when a child gets to puberty, there are certain body changes. Biology helps us to understand this. Also, biology helps in helping, can be applied in helping infertile couples to actually have children through IVF or in vitro fertilization. So basically, when the couple cannot actually use the natural process, biology can come in here in the form of fertility medicine, so it can work through here. And then we also have application of biology has helped in organ transplants. Example is the kidney transplant. Of course, biology helps us to understand how this can be successful, because before a transplant is done, there has to be a compatibility test that is done. If not, the transplant will fail. So biology helps us understand the intricate processes involved and how to ensure a successful organ transplant. Then we have the application of biology has helped in the development of vaccines and drugs for preventing and curing many serious diseases. This is one of the most important things, especially in our own tropical region where we have something like malaria. It has helped us in developing drugs, anti-malaria drugs. Also polio, we have polio vaccines, we have smallpox vaccine, and these things are actually possible because the application of what? Biology. The many fuel we use today has biological origin. The example is your crude oil that Nigeria is very proud and blessed with, because this particular substance are actually developed or actually are built from dead organic materials. In this case, plants and animals have been buried underground for a long period of time under high temperature and pressure. And remember, living things, both plants and animals are living things, and they eventually turn into what we have today as crude oil. Then we also have biology also helps to, it encompasses, it houses many research fields that are related to sustaining life. This includes the environment, and also biology explains the changes in human body. I think we've seen something similar to that. And biology is one of the subjects that helps to shape different careers. This is where we have the doctors, the pharmacists, the nurses. All these are still under the umbrella of biology because it has to do with living things. And then we have biological ideologies can be utilized to develop efficient and long-lasting methods for producing more food to sustain life. I think there was a time we even had this issue of GMOs, especially in Nigeria. So genetically modified food, sometimes these are being applied to ensure that we get better traits out of a particular thing that we want. Also, in sometimes in biology also helped us understand the life cycle of pests, so we tend to know how to control them better, ensuring that our foods produce in a quantity that can sustain life in a particular environment. And finally, biology helps in answering the fundamental questions about life. So biologically basically answers everything about us. At the end of the day, every living thing dies. All right, and so many things that affect life, biology has an answer to them, and how best to live our life, biology also has an answer to that. So there are many applications of biology, and they are quite useful to man. So thank you very much for joining me till this point. In our next class, we'll continue with characteristics of living things. Thank you, and make sure that you subscribe and watch our next episode.